Let's begin with introduction. All of us breathe to live, but why is breathing so essential to life? What happens when we breathe? Also, do all living organisms, including plants and microbes, breathe? If so, how? All living organisms need energy for carrying out daily life activities, be it absorption, transport, movement, reproduction, or even breathing. Where does all this energy come from? We know we eat food for energy, but how is this energy taken from food? How is this energy utilized? Do all foods give the same amount of energy? Do plants eat? Where do plants get their energy from? And microorganisms, for their energy requirements, do they eat food? You may wonder at the several questions raised above, they may seem to be very disconnected. But in reality, the process of breathing is very much connected to the process of release of energy from food. Let us try and understand how this happens. All the energy required for life processes is obtained by oxidation of some macromolecules that we call food. Only green plants and cyanobacteria can prepare their own food. By the process of photosynthesis, they trap light energy and convert it into chemical energy that is stored in the bonds of carbohydrates like glucose, sucrose, and starch. We must remember that in green plants too, not all cells, tissues, and organs photosynthesize. Only cells containing chloroplasts, that are most often located in the superficial layers, carry out photosynthesis. Hence, even in green plants, all other organs, tissues, and cells that are non-green need food for oxidation. Hence, food has to be translocated to all non-green parts. Animals are heterotrophic, that is, they obtain food from plants directly, herbivores, or indirectly, carnivores. Saprophytes like fungi are dependent on dead and decaying matter. What is important to recognize is that ultimately all the food that is required for life processes comes from photosynthesis. This chapter deals with cellular respiration, or the mechanism of breakdown of food materials within the cell to release energy, and the trapping of this energy for synthesis of ATP. Photosynthesis, of course, takes place within the chloroplasts, in the eukaryotes, whereas the breakdown of complex molecules to yield energy takes place in the cytoplasm and in the mitochondria, also only in eukaryotes. The breaking of the C-C single bonds of complex compounds through oxidation within the cells, leading to release of considerable amount of energy, is called respiration. The compounds that are oxidized during this process are known as respiratory substrates. Usually carbohydrates are oxidized to release energy, but proteins, fats, and even organic acids can be used as respiratory substances in some plants, under certain conditions. During oxidation within a cell, all the energy contained in respiratory substrates is not released free into the cell, or in a single step. It is released in a series of slow stepwise reactions controlled by enzymes, and it is trapped as chemical energy in the form of ATP. Hence, it is important to understand that the energy released by oxidation in respiration is not, or rather cannot be, used directly but is used to synthesize ATP, which is broken down whenever, and wherever, energy needs to be utilized. Hence, ATP acts as the energy currency of the cell. This energy trapped in ATP is utilized in various energy-requiring processes of the organisms, and the carbon skeleton produced during respiration is used as precursors for biosynthesis of other molecules in the cell. 14.1 Do plants breathe? Well, the answer to this question is not quite so direct. Yes, plants require O2 for respiration to occur, and they also give out CO2. Hence, plants have systems in place that ensure the availability of O2. Plants, unlike animals, have no specialized organs for gaseous exchange, but they have stomata and lenticels for this purpose. There are several reasons why plants can get along without respiratory organs. First, each plant part takes care of its own gas exchange needs. There is very little transport of gases from one plant part to another. Second, plants do not present great demands for gas exchange. Roots, stems, and leaves respire at rates far lower than animals do. Only during photosynthesis are large volumes of gases exchanged, and each leaf is well adapted to take care of its own needs during these periods. When cells photosynthesize, availability of O2 is not a problem in these cells since O2 is released within the cell. Third, the distance that gases must diffuse even in large, bulky plants is not great. Each living cell in a plant is located quite close to the surface of the plant. This is true for leaves, you may ask, but what about thick, woody stems and roots? In stems, the living cells are organized in thin layers inside and beneath the bark. They also have openings called lenticels. The cells in the interior are dead and provide only mechanical support. Thus, most cells of a plant have at least a part of their surface in contact with air. This is also facilitated by the loose packing of parenchyma cells in leaves, stems and roots, which provide an interconnected network of air spaces.